I've got your plan open in my copy of Suite 2019. And just like Eric, I couldn't find anything in the settings that was wrong. So sending your plan along with a query to tech support is probably a good idea. But it doesn't solve your initial problem. You know, you've got a gap here. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One thing is you didn't name this space, like Eric said, garage. I've done that. Now that by itself, I got the reference display on and I turned off the grid. Okay, I named a garage. Of course, that didn't solve anything in particular, but these names are not just names, they're programming commands. And so they do have some positive value. Now, the thing about garage, you'll notice that I lowered the garage floor 6 inches. Why did I do that? Well, garages are commonly, for drainage purposes, lower than the house. So if you get a strong rain, water's not going to run into the garage and thus secondarily into the house. So normally decks and garages and patios and things like that are by agreement lower than the house level. So I just do that as a designer as I design. Now garages, why did I lower it 6 inches? Okay, garage floors are slanted. Like they're higher up here than they are, the lowest parts underneath the doors, so that if any water does get into the garage or you spill gasoline or something, it runs away from the house and out of the garage. Again, it's a drainage kind of a thing. So I set my garage floors 6 inches below the house with the consideration that there's a slant in the floor. That generally works out. Okay, now what you didn't account for, yeah, I've lowered this 6 inches, but you still look at it in a camera view. Let me open this. And you can see that there's space under it. It's not because the foundation's missing. It's because the garage is too high out of the ground. Also, your porch over here is way out, too far out of the ground. Now, you've done well with the terrain otherwise. I mean, with the walled-out basement, this looks fine here. But this is still too high out of the ground. So how are you going to do that? Well, you can open the dialog box of the terrain. You can see it's set to 0. That's fine. I usually set mine to 7 inches. I'm going to set it to 7 and let's just see what happens. Okay, we're getting this message here, which I'll take a look at later, but I'm not going to handle it now. Okay, it moved the terrain up. Actually, it looked like I moved the terrain down. Let's change that to 14. I just want to close this gap here. Maybe I need to know the okay. Okay, that's widening the gap. So I need to go, I'm sorry. I need to put in a -7, not +7. That was pushing it in the wrong direction. I want to close that gap. Okay, see, I've closed the gap. Now there's not quite a big a step here. And we're closer to the ground here. Now, normally I'd set my garages at 1 inch above the terrain, because if I wanted to draw a driveway, I'm going to go over here to driveway. Driveways are about 1 inch thick in this software. So we'll go over here to build. Yeah. This is not necessary for you to detail to this degree, but okay. So you draw a driveway object, and well, we probably don't need it that wide. I'm going to turn that message off. I'm tired of looking at it. Okay. So your driveway is about 1 inch thick, and then that puts, with the terrain set at -7, that puts it, and the garage set at -6, then it's about an inch above the terrain, and that's the thickness of the driveway, and that's see, and we've kind of already solved visually your problem here. What you can do in the meantime, whatever tech support comes up with, you can still do something. I'm going to go over here to Cabinet Tools and select a soffit. See, I'm down here on the first level. I'm going to put this underneath the garage and then resize this. Underneath the garage. And of course, the default material on soffits is drywall, so I'm going to change that material setting. Materials. And we'll change that to concrete. So, presto changeo, a soffit becomes concrete, becomes your slab foundation, which for whatever reason, the software was stubbornly not producing. Okay, that's what came in a little tall. So I'm going to click on the soffit. And if we reduce it down to that level. And that fills in the visual gap between the terrain, and so you now have an apparent foundation there. Not perfectly lined up. Oops, I don't want it to go up. Let's see, I need to click on the side of it. I don't see that. Oh, there. No. Let me do it this way. Just a little out of alignment. See, it's a little out of alignment this way. By the way, I've got the reference display on. That's under View. No, maybe it's Tool. Yeah, there it is. And reference floor display, F9 on your keyboard. That's how you can turn that on and off. Tools, reference floors, reference floor display. That's how I got that. See, now, as Inspector Clouseau says, the case is solved, at least to this degree. Now this thing here, this half post, that's a setting on rail style, and there should be a checkbox here for no. Oh, maybe Sweet doesn't have that. Well, fiddlesticks. See, no post? No, don't want that. Poster beam is what I commonly use. Well, in most everything else, there's a setting for no half post. I guess in Sweet there isn't. Never mind. Now, in terms of this error message that you keep getting, oh, see, I rose the terrain up here to the front, and I commonly set it to the garage. Now we need to fix it here in the back, or I need to fix it because I screwed it up. Let me go back to plan, and we'll need to go to where you created the terrain. There it is. You've got a terrain object here with a value of -4. I think I lowered this 7 inches, so let's make it -11 to compensate for that. No, that didn't do it. How about I'm just going to go -24. I just want, what? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I need to go over here to terrain and build terrain. Maybe you turned off auto build. Yeah, you turned off auto build terrain. That's what that was. That's the reason it wasn't updating. Let's go over here and turn that back on. Let's see, terrain's up to date. No. Okay, let me just open. I commonly use auto build terrain Oh, you don't have that setting here. Okay, that's why you don't have it, because it's sweet. All right. See, I overdid it. Let's make it -14. And then we'll go over here to terrain, build terrain, so it updates. And we'll check it with the camera. Okay. See, I've got it back to about where you had it. Now, in terms of this being a deck up here, and you get an error about deck over a non-deck room. This is the non-deck room, and this is the, so what you do, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just an error message. It's not like, you know, you sinned or something. We got this deck here. So you can name these decks. It'll look like a deck. Don't name it a deck. Name it a balcony. All these deck rooms I'm going to rename balcony. It's just an outdoor area, an open air area outside, and balcony. Deck means something very specific in this software. Now, you go back to the camera view, see it hadn't changed all that much in appearance. And I would go down here on this level, instead of these invisible walls, I'm going to shift select. I don't know if you can shift select, and okay, you can't shift select. All right, I open one and make it visible and change it to what we want is post to beam. And yeah, we made it visible, post to beam. North balancers are set to 4x4s, that's fine. Now I'm just going to, oh, you don't have the overdraw tool here in Suite. So we'll just do each of these. Tell you what, we'll take this one and copy paste it over here. Save a little time. We'll delete that one and then put this one in its place. That's good. Just to save a little time, I'm going to copy this out here. Delete that and put this in its place. I'm hoping this is saving some time. Perhaps it isn't. That's out of alignment with the wall above. We should, yeah, there it shows up. Now this way, okay, and you can turn these railings off in the dialog box, but now this, well, we got some missing crap here. I think all that's needed is, let's build, I want to build framing. This is, I'm not very familiar with Suite. I use Chief Premiere all the time. So, and Suite is slightly different. Build new floor, build foundation, delete, no. Let me open this and see if there's something I'm overlooking. See. Well, that's, why is this filling in and that's not filling in on the left and right? Let's see what the difference is. These are both balconies, but they're not building the same. Floors, all these are set default. Let's see, ceiling, no. Excuse me. Well, I don't see the freaking difference. Let's see. That seems to be the difference in appearance. Let me turn the reference display off. Tools. Okay. Now, let me go back to the camera. This dialog here is set to, on the structure tab, roof over. No, you got the ceiling turned off. You just oh, you don't have it. Yeah. Oh, I see. You got these big posts here. I guess those. No, it looks like you're supposed to have a roof out here. Oh, you okay? I think things have gone south here, and I didn't notice. Let's put that back. Roof over, flat ceiling over. Okay, that's better. Now, what is that crap? Ceiling should be turned off. Oh, we don't want a ceiling. That's all that is. Okay. All right. You could fill this in with soffits to make it look like soffits and slanted soffits to make it, for there to be structure here. I'm not going to go that far. You can figure that out. I'm just trying to figure out, oh, why don't these line up floor to floor? What's up with, oh yeah, see, it stops over here. I see. I guess, why did you do that? Okay, let me go back to the camera. Maybe that will explain it. You're more familiar with, okay, I see. That's why you got that mismatch there, because that goes over there and got it. Okay. Now you could fill in like I did under the garage with soffits here. I don't know why it's not filling in, but it's not filling in. And there's no command for me to build framing like there would be in Home Designer Pro. So I would just fill that in with soffits. Now, it shouldn't do that, but it is doing that. So what are you going to do? Explain holes to people every time you show it? No, just fill it in with soffits and set the material to whatever you'd like. Now you can turn the railing off down here. I would leave the posts. Maybe you can reset how many posts, by the way, by opening the wall and go over to newels and balusters, and there's a spacing setting here for the newel posts. We'll set that to 12 feet. And then hit the tab key. You can see over here that reduces the number of posts, and you'll see the change here in the camera view after it updates. So by adjusting the spacing on the newels, you can adjust the spacing on the posts. Well, that's about all I can think of to pontificate about your plan. We solved visually the foundation problem. We didn't solve the foundation problem, but unless you're a structural engineer, you can't legally design foundations anyway. So when I do foundations, they're just for visuals. They're just conceptual, because I'm not a structural engineer. But except for this void, like this, let me show you what I'm talking about. Go back to plan here, go down a floor. I'm gonna, let's see, get a soffit. Let's take that. See if it shows up in the camera view. I can't see it yet, but I don't know exactly where this is. Let's see. I'm going to take that and shove it outside the camera here so I can see where it, whoops, it pops back in. See where that thing is. There it is. Okay. I'm going to drag this up and do just underneath the deck and then over here like that. I'm going to take this and shove it back under the deck. And we'll take this material here and copy it onto that. I don't need it that quite as thick as it is. Over here to the edge. Fill in all those visual voids. And let's go around the corner here. See if we need to. No, it's filled in here, so that fixed it. Visually fixed it. It didn't. You understand? You're never going to live in this virtual model. It's a representative mock-up of what you would like to have in the real universe, and you can communicate your desires and dreams to building professionals who are going to help you build this. And that's the purpose of this model. It's not. It doesn't have the purpose of it needs to be perfect in every way. It just needs to communicate visually to building professionals what it is that you want to actually have. And if it does that, then it's doing its job. And if it doesn't, then it's not doing its job. But the virtual model, you're never going to step inside of it. You're never going to live in it. You're going to never experience a brainstorm in it and so forth. It just has a purpose, and it's mainly a visual and a graphic purpose. Okay. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I hope it helps you, and have a good day.